Hello, how there? My name is Laolu Akonde, and you are on to Inside Sources. But first, here is my take for today, titled Benue Killings, Calling a Spade a Spade. In the last few months alone, here are some of the callous and despicable killings that have occurred in Benue and Plateau states. On February 1 and 2nd, there was an attack on Gua West that resulted in multiple deaths in Benue State. On February 3, fresh military attack in Otukpo, killing 3 people, as in Benue State. February 5, 5 local hunters killed in Okomaju, in Benue State. February 18, that was the Kwande massacre where 18 people were murdered in Benue State. March 24, there was a major attack in Ruwe, Plateau State, leaving over 100 people dead. March 27, another attack in Oti, Ruwe, burning 36 people alive, also in Plateau State. April 2nd, a coordinated attack in Manguna and Darfur, killing 4 people, at least, in Plateau State. April 13, at least 40 people killed in Zike, Bassa local government in Plateau State. June 15, gunmen killed at least, some figures said even close to 200, or at least 100 people in Yellow-Water village in Benue State. These are just some of the cold-blooded murders in Benue and Plateau State in 2025 only, already exceeding several hundreds of Nigerians killed. The pattern is clear, and suspicions about a certain agenda can no longer be dismissed with a wave of the hand. This is why we must commend the third chief, who is also the chairman of the Benue State Council of Chiefs, His Royal Highness, Professor James Ayase, for saying it as it is when the president visited the state on Wednesday. At that meeting, the third chief, who is a university professor himself, he told the president, and I quote him now, "We do have great concerns about the misinformation and misrepresentation of the security crisis in Benue State. Your Excellency, it is not others-farmers clashes. It is not communal clashes. It is not reprisal attacks or skirmishes." Unquote. The third chief was speaking what the people of Benue and the people of Plateau have been suffering and seeing before their very eyes for about a decade now. A report of the event, that is the recent visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Benue State, in the Punch newspaper, also quoted the third chief, further describing the violence. I quote him again. The violence, he said, is a calculated, well-planned, full-scale, genocidal invasion and land-grabbing campaign, unquote, by hardened terrorists and bandits that has lasted for decades. Is it likely that these killings have persisted, partly because it is even being wrongly named? Here are what the third chief said in that same event. I quote him, "Wrong diagnosis will always lead to wrong treatment. We are dealing with something far more sinister than we think. It is not about learning to live with your neighbors, it is dealing with a war," unquote. The third chief is right. There are forces that are determined and are waging war against the free people of Nigeria in some of those states. Let us just call a spade a spade. Calling the crisis names such as farmer-elders clashes is a deflection, and doing so is either an error or a strategic decoy. And just in case the federal government thinks that this situation is too far to fetch, namely that this is not genocidal, the government don't have to take the word of the governor of Plateau State or that of third chief, both of whom have correctly told us that this is genocidal. The government has the National Human Rights Commission. Let the commission be mandated, just like the executive secretary of the commission said here recently on Inside Sources, be mandated to investigate and make findings. Let us as a government and a people now come together and boldly confront the callousness that has gone on for too long in those states and start by calling a spade a spade. Let different groups in our country speak out and engage on the issue. Let us all stop pretending that this is not happening. It is happening. And we should all call this thing its name. Let us all clamor that those perpetrating this violence are criminals who should be punished. Let us all hold our political leaders responsible so that they can hold the security chiefs accountable. Let the security agencies ensure that they station more troops in the trouble spots and become more nimble in responding to the threats. Let the impunity end. Let the lack of justice end. Let the offenders be punished. Then, let us all raise our voices loud and clear and call for state police now or the decentralization of the Nigerian police force. Governor Hyacinth earlier made the point in the presence of the president on Wednesday, and the governor is right. Let us rise up to the occasion as a government and as a people to say enough is enough. Thank God, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, he has used those words. Now, let him use the power, the force, and the influence of the office of the president to terminate this genocide, because he can do it. He can do it for us as a people, and he can do it for his legacy. And there you have it. Inside Sources. We'll be right back. Today, as we continue the conversation on the future of Nigeria, I have a notable Nigerian politician who is also a media guru, who pulled a big stunt in Lagos politics towards 2023 and who has continued to make the big waves. I'd like to welcome two Inside Sources, a friend and brother politician, Mr. Olajide Adediran Jandor. My brother.
Good to see you, everyone.
Good to see you here in Inside Sources.
Good to see you.
Yeah, so let's just start this way. It's a conversation about the future of the country, you know. But let's take it from your recent experience in politics. Now, do you think, or when do you think Nigeria's politics will get to the point where we have less and less of Baba Sokwe, you know, less and less of the overbearing influence of godfathers? Let's start from that.
Well, thank you very much. You see, if you followed what we did in Lagos, you know, it was actually centered on this topic that you mentioned. And of course, we're very much aware that all political parties in Nigeria do have what you call, whether you want to call it Baba Sokwe or leader or a supreme leader, or I mean, every political party. I mean, if you mention NNPP, APC, PDP, even Labour Party, everybody, if the man who is seen as the alpha and omega of the party decides what, I mean, I don't think anybody will say otherwise. Actually, we were actually aware of that. But more importantly for us, we needed a platform to express our can-do ability. And at that time, we were in APC at that time, and we had an incumbent on the ballot. We know it's going to be difficult for us to see that incumbent to pick the ticket. So we needed a platform where we can express our can-do ability, and which we're able to do, you know. And we had PDP. So we confronted another Baba in PDP. You know, but you know, there's a saying that if a woman hasn't tried two husbands, we don't know which is which. So eventually we found out that the previous Baba Sokwe that we had to avoid to come into PDP, for what you care, you will do everything, even if you are not the chosen one, to win for his party. But the other one will do everything to ensure his own party doesn't win.
Because that is not his candidate.
Even if it's his candidate, it has been his stock in trade for the party, for whatever reasons. Only God knows.
The party not to win at all.
The party not to win at all.
Yet,
it's been like that since 1999.
Interesting.
Since 2021 when he joined the party. So it dawned on us after, you know, the experience. And we sat down and looked at it. You know what? It doesn't have to be about me. You know, we have a lot of followers who had actually put their hopes in the fact that if we win, I mean, they can be part of the government we want to form. But if we don't win and the party wins, they can still be parts of whatever it is. And that informed us and say, you know what? I think we'd rather go with
go back to
lesser evil. Let me use that word. If it's the right word to use.
Interesting.
Because the most important thing, I keep saying it, a political party is established just for one purpose: to be able to win an election and form the government for the betterment of the people. Anything short of that is just a child's play.
Something else, yeah.
So it doesn't have to be you. Just belong to where
party and
win for your people, win for everybody, than keep, losing for whatever reason.
That's a very interesting idea.
And if you say you have something to offer, you first have to win. If you have a very beautiful manifesto,
and it's no use.
It's no use. But even if you don't win as an individual and your party wins, you can still contribute to the party by saying, oh, I have some ideas. Oh, you can look at this, and that's a win for you.
It's quite an interesting analysis there, Jandor. So part of the reason why I asked that question is because, when you look at the way political parties, especially since 1999, the way they recruit people who run for election and, of course, political leadership in the country, we haven't had a consistent process where there is effective competition, which I guess partly also explains what I call, actually I call your experience in PDP. You had a fling with PDP because I knew that you had always been in APC, which I guess also, it was part of the reason why you yourself left, because you saw the recruitment process that, look, you may not get the chance, and now you have gone to PDP. You showed what you can do. Now you're back home. So do you think we need to change that recruitment process in the party? Isn't there a use for us to have a more transparent, internal democracy where party primaries, even at state and local levels, can really become a thing that gets the real boss of the people? That's that's the real point about the Baba Sokwe, because what we mean by Baba Sokwe is that, okay, we have a Baba Sokwe, this is the candidate, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I think that we can't actually take out political party administration completely out of Nigerian factor, right? People look at primary election. They've forgotten that before a primary election, there will be congresses here and there.
Yeah.
And whoever controls the delegates of congresses would determine where it will go. So before you talk about primary election, you have to go back to how do we go about the selection choices of those who form the delegates, who are ward schools, LGS schools, and all of that.
Right.
So in a situation whereby you have a leader in a local government, for instance, and picked all the entire wards and the LGA, as far as that place is concerned, is in charge. So you only need to talk to one person if you want to be anything. So if he says to all of them, this is where we are going, and that's where they're going. Why I say you can't take political party administration out of Nigerian context is because, hey, there is poverty down there.
Yeah.
And, at the sprinkle of little things, people would scramble to say, oh, I would rather want to be
with this guy,
with this guy and all of that.
Who is spending.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's actually going to be, difficult, except, and of course, we have an electoral reforms that speak to how to go about that selection choices without anybody owning anybody and all of that. So
interesting.
It's entrenched. It's been like that across political parties. Don't let anybody come here and say one party is it's everywhere. Yeah. It's just one issue. Yeah. Everybody goes this way.
It's just that the bigger the party, the bigger the attention.
Absolutely, yes. So it's just the same thing.
But what kind of reform? So I mean, Jandor, you have been, you've always been APC, you had to move to PDP, now you are back, you ran for governor of Lagos State. What kind of reform do you think we really need to implement?
Well, so
Because we shouldn't continue like this, in my view.
yeah, I understand. You see, a lot of legislation had to come in place. I mean, it's not just a reform; it's a reform that will be backed by the law, which will also be respected by everybody. There's something I've noticed in this country. It's one thing for you to have a law; it's another thing for the law to be executed.
Yeah.
And again, if it is even executed, when it gets to a stage of interpretation, you see the judiciary also doing otherwise, and you're now asking yourself, I went to court now. This is what the law says. This is what I took to court. What interpretation are you giving to it? I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
So it's a whole lot of work that has to be done between the three arms of government, both the legislation and even the judiciary, more importantly, judiciary. Because when it comes to interpretation, you see a lot of technicalities coming into play and somebody is defending what we can read and understand. I experienced this during our election petition tribunal up to the Supreme Court, because the position of the law was very clear. The law says for you to be a candidate of the party,
Right.
you must be a member of that political party. That's the position of the law.
Right.
That you can't be a member of a political party and then automatically be their distance. So
that was in your case?
Yes, my case again. So if they check the register of the party.
Right.
And your name is not in the register of the party.
You shouldn't be.
A CTC is certified true copy of, because the law also said that every political party must submit their membership register to INEC prior to an election. 30 days.
That's even prior to the primary.
Prior to primary. So you must submit, and you submitted that list to say, this is our list. And, it was received by INEC. And we went there and picked the citizen copy of that. Your name is not there. And we put it before court that, look, he's not a member of this political party.
And that person ran.
That person ran, and the court says it's the only political party that can decide who will run their tickets. I was like, so where is this interpretation coming from? So it's a whole lot of, I don't know where we're going to start from. Seriously. But again, it's not enough for us to now say, okay, we won't be part of it. Let them continue to do it. No, we will not leave that space for anybody. We will be there and see how we can, because you can't correct anything if you're outside.
No, I agree with that. Absolutely. And even for those of us who may not be in politics, it's one of the reasons why I'm here. Yeah. This is why I'm sitting on this chair, Jandor, to talk about it, and to call out when you need to call people out respectfully, objectively, and to say that, look, politics is not just for politicians.
No.
Because to the extent that it affects and it affects everything, everybody should have a voice. So taking that thing forward, so the governor of Lagos State, the incumbent governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who, by the way, in my own view, has done quite a bit of good work, had a very interesting incident a few weeks ago when the president was in Lagos, and the president skipped him as he was shaking hands all over the place, where they tried to play it down, but eventually we saw the elders go back with him, and we now said that everything has been settled. In your view, do you think that the president has a legitimate or a fairly reasonable issue against Sanwo-Olu? And one more point, just to put everything on the table. The buzz is that the president was not happy, that while he lost the presidential election in 2023, Sanwo-Olu won. People very close to the president, this is what they say to us, that the president felt that I was, you sat down there, you won your election, I lost mine. Whatever it is, what's your own take about that issue? Because it became a public, matter, to the extent that the GAC had to now follow him to go and sort it out. I wanted to get your view, Jandor.
I don't know what view to put up here now, because one, the president hasn't said either by himself or his handlers that there was a problem.
But we saw it, Jandor.
I didn't read or see any.
You didn't see that video?
Hold on, sir. I didn't read or see any release from the presidency that suggested that there was a problem, right? And again, yeah, everybody read meaning, their own meaning to the skip.
Okay.
And for me, it could be an honest skip. And the president might feel, look, you are a landlord. Why do I need to shake you? Right? Where you're home. Let me attend to other people, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, that might be because I won't be speaking on rumors, right? And the other meeting you talked about and they went, that's the tradition. Whenever the president comes to Lagos, the GSA will go visit, the governor will go there, and all of that. So if somebody said he frustrated, they did this, I didn't see it, and
in any case,
right? And that was not released from the presidency that said, "Oh, your sins are forgiven," just like we read on this piece of paper.
Exactly.
That was come from somewhere. So I probably don't know what to say to that, but of course, in a father and son relationship or brother or wife and husband relationship, you can't rule out misunderstandings once in a while, right? It happens. And I mean, nobody can rule that out. But again, if you have not been called to say, come and mediate or come and talk about it, and you're just picking something you pick on the roadside, at this level, I don't think you should do that.
I agree with you. I mean, if you say that you base your assessment on public statements, fair enough. Although everybody saw the video, but some of us also have inside track, so it's fair enough.
I don't have that inside track. I'm not
Jandor. Anyway, let's move along. So now you're back in APC after your what I call your PDP flank. What's your plan for the future? Because I know that part of the reason, because you and I have done some work in the past together, part of the reason why you got into politics was to create impact. We felt that Nigeria can go at a faster pace. It was this passion and this concern. So what's your next move? Are you hoping to run again for governor? And primaries are next year.
Okay, so I've been qualified to run for an election since 2010, 2011. When let me use the word qualified, ready. Let me use that word. I mean, qualification has always been there, ready to run since 2011. 2011, when I started reaching out, when I started assisting people around, I mean, communities and all of that. But I didn't run. 2015, I didn't run. 2019, I didn't run. But in 2023, I believe that it was time for me to express my can-do ability, just like I said earlier on. And I gave everything. I gave my all to say, look, we will not sit down and just be complaining or offering social media criticism and all of that. It's about time we come at the center and see how we can also assist, and play our own part. And that came with a lot of, I lost many friends, okay, which is okay. But along the line, I gained more, especially at the grassroots, which is very much okay. And the experience for me was wooden, just like I said earlier on. It's just for us to continue to see how we can assist people. After 2023 election, with the outcome of 2023 election, I didn't run away. I'm still very much around, still reaching out to people, still assisting communities in my own little way. That is where I am. That's where I will continue to be. And I didn't also run from the space to say, oh, it's too toxic, I'm not going to be part of it anymore. No, I'm still here standing. And I mean, just like I said to you earlier on, the difference between where I was coming from and where I am today, the statement that we needed to make at that time is already made. What was the statement? To tell the entire world and the state of Lagos that yes, we can. If given that opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. We needed to go through that route.
Right.
To tell the whole world that look at us.
Yeah.
We have also come of age.
We have the capacity.
We have the capacity.
But my point is that you have shown the capacity,
yes.
But then the reason why you wanted to be governor was because you wanted to impact.
That's what I'm saying.
So
that
aren't you taking it forward?
No, I am. That reason hasn't left. I am
Okay.
taking it forward. I said to someone, I said, look, we have chosen this path. We're not going to deviate from it. Right? I'm not checking out. You understand? When I had the privilege of sitting with Mr. President one-on-one before joining the party, I mean, I listened to him. What I saw, I can say to you that even myself, I was disappointed. You know?
Why?
It disappointed me because the thoughts that I had of him was totally changed.
Okay, can you tell us? Give us an insight.
No, I mean, forget the fact that we're playing politics when we're in the opposing camp. I never gave him any chance. But even after office, I mean, after the election and he assumed office and all that, if you observe, I didn't even go on national TV to do anything. I waited to see
what was
let me even see. I can't just come and be talking because I'm in the opposition. Oh, he's not doing this, he's not sleeping well. No, wait a little bit and check out what was it. The man disappointed somebody like me by proving us wrong.
Oh, I see. That's what you mean.
Yes, by proving us wrong. You know, and I've used several, because I sat down and I've listened. This 2023 campaign wasn't the first time we're going to hear we will remove subsidy. We've always been hearing it. But when they get there, because of the fear of their second coming, they will not remove it. Even your own Oga promised he was going to remove it as the president then. He didn't remove it. Second term, he didn't remove it because he believed that if I remove it, people will not vote for me for my second term. Because, hey, the subsidy, yes, is eating deep into
but you know, it's a very controversial subject, actually.
I just want you to listen to me.
Okay.
It takes a man with courage to say, you know what, I will prioritize Nigerian future, Nigerian tomorrow against my own second coming. He risked that for all of us to say, look, these few people that are taking our commonwealth, I will remove their hands first and see how that for me is something. Okay. That you can give somebody kudos for, to say whatever you want to talk, the rest is politics, but that one is something. Then, and at that point, even before then, I know how much assistance as a politician, that I give to people who are vulnerable in the society. So, but when I heard that Nigerian presidents decided to do 80% subsidy for chemo, for kidney, and for dialysis. For dialysis.
That to pay the 80% of the cost.
80% of the cost. And people don't know about this. But I know about it because I know how many people that I have to pay to do that. So
I think Dr. Pate actually gave a figure. I think it runs to 100,000 now.
I am telling you, they break it down.
I agree with you.
You understand? So that's something that a lot of people would not know that somebody has done something.
Well, the point, Jandor, and I want us to begin to wrap up, is that the issue of subsidy is very controversial. I also support the fact that the president was bold not to remove it. But it has caused a lot of suffering, and, some of us believe that it could have been done with a little bit more care.
How? Well, you tell me how.
Well,
how?
So, by taking care of what is going to happen to a good number of the people that will be suffering. So, if you had gone ahead, for instance,
should we explain this to ourselves?
No, well,
let's not see. I can play politics. So.
You're a politician.
Yeah, I can play politics. If we're in the opposing camp, I don't want to see anything that is good about you. But I told you I waited just to see before I started talking. I totally agree with you. But don't forget, the money that was taken from few people, they were benefiting from this subsidy. Few people was plowed back to the component state and local government.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there's a problem there too. Not the president's problem.
So we're talking
Governors.
about the president now. If you go to your state, you can begin to discuss what is happening in your state.
What I think the president should do now, the president has to use, and he has started, but he has to do it more. He has to do a lot of bully pulpits against those governors. So the governors, a lot of governors now have more money,
but it's not.
They are not seeing the they are not using the money.
Exactly. So you know where you should then know where to take your angers to. I've given several examples to say, go back and check MBS, it's the statistic, before it's coming and after it's coming.
Yeah.
You see what they are taking away. See, all the governors are boasting today. I have done this number of projects and I have not borrowed the kobo. Have you listened to majority of them? Boasting.
Yeah.
And I've not borrowed the kobo.
It's because there is more money now.
Thank you.
Although when you ask them, they say, inflation has been it up. But somebody said that you don't spend dollars. You're not supposed to be spending dollars in your state.
Thank you. So what we're saying is that the money that was taken from few people is now plowed back to majority. Let them use it judiciously to, ameliorate the sufferings of the people.
Well, Jandor, let's talk about opposition politics in Nigeria. Again, so you've had an experience with PDP. Spent quite I think you did about 2 or 3 years with them.
Yeah, more or less.
First, do you think that the reason, in my view, why PDP is where it is today is because Atiku Abubakar chose to run for president in 2023 when the whole nation, or to seem, felt it was the turn of the South? Do you share that view, or what's your own take about this?
Okay, so, of course, if you ask some people within the PDP, that is the kind of narrative that they will keep giving you. But if I take you back to when we started and you ask me when exactly do we see a very unbiased primary process, I spoke about legislation, I spoke about, all of those things.
Judiciary.
So for me, I won't share that thought, and not because that was my preference at that time, no, because it was an open primary, right? There were meetings over zoning or no zoning before that time, and the party and everybody decided I should be thrown open.
That's true.
Right. And they had an open primary. So he won. So I won't say that was why PDP, got to where they are today. In fairness to whatever is going on. But I would rather say that, I'm not like a door. I've seen both inside and outside.
Yeah.
Both APC and PDP. I say something about PDP. Yeah, PDP, give it to them. They can be very democratic when it comes to selection choices, which is good. APC then have something which is better.
Which is?
You can fault their selection choices for all you care.
Okay.
But you can't fault the fact that there is what is called party supremacy.
In APC?
In APC.
Which is lacking in
PDP.
In your view?
Yes, in my view. It's obvious. If the party in APC decide that this microphone is the person we're all following, everybody will fall in line.
Okay, based on what you have said about the Lagos,
everybody will fall in line to say, okay, we're following that microphone, irrespective of the reservations that you may have or you may have had. But in PDP, it's the only party where I see leaders of the party telling followers, don't vote for that microphone because it wasn't my choice.
Okay, no, but you made that point. Let's dwell on this article.
That's what I'm saying.
Situation.
So that's what I'm saying. At that time, the party chose Atiku via an open primary. He won the tickets.
But the problem
it is expected that at that time, every member of that party should follow Atiku.
Okay, but
because all the people that are also saying otherwise contested for that ticket, they lost.
But wait.
It wasn't like they didn't allow them to contest. It was just zoned to the north. that you cannot contest. Everybody contested that ticket, they lost.
and then he won.
Yes.
But then when Atiku emerged, you know, in a fair process like you have described, you know, they said that the chairmanship of the party ought to now go back to the south. Now that a northern person had emerged as a presidential candidate, Atiku blocked that.
Let me tell you what I know. I'm unfortunately, I mean,
please,
it's I've left them. Fortunately, I'm now with,
but you have intelligence.
You know, I was part of this. So during that, let me put it that way. We, governorship candidate of the party at that time,
right?
We met.
Okay.
We said, look, these guys are fighting. They will crash on us.
Okay.
What do we do? Let's meet our leaders.
All the governorship candidates of PDP.
Yes,
across the country.
Let's meet the two gladiators, which is Governor Wike at that time and Atiku Abubakar, Atiku Abubakar. So we went to Atiku and said, look, sir, we are going to Port Harcourt. And these are the things that we want to be part of this. He said, okay, fine. When you come back, I'll be here. We left for Port Harcourt and we engaged Governor Wike as at that time.
Okay.
He said everything. And the only thing he requested was that Ayu should resign.
That's Wike.
That's Wike. Okay, that's all?
That he was going to play along everything, but Ayu should resign as chairman of the party.
Chairman of the party.
So that a southerner can emerge.
Ayu resigned. He said it was fine. So we left that meeting. So he gave them their plane to come back. I didn't join the plane. I had to, you know. But on the plane, I spoke with Atiku because I wasn't going back to Abuja.
Okay.
In fact, it was one that called me. I said, how did it go? I said, sir, before I answer you, can I ask you a question? What will it change if I step aside? Will it change anything? Will it affect anything? And all of that. I said, Jandor, I don't have any problem whatsoever with how you resigning. But should I be the one to tell him? Won't I appear selfish?
Okay.
What was his response? I said, okay, that's fine. If that is your position, which means are you leaving will not affect anything. Okay, let's do this. So when I picked up my phone, I called Ashuru of Kaduna. I called Wiley of Kano. You know, I called Mustafa Lamido. And I called these guys. I said, look, when you get back to Abuja, I spoke to Atiku. This is what he said. Meet General Gusau. Meet Babangida. Meet Abdul Salami. Meet these people. Meet your father, Wiley. And let them speak to Ayu to resign. This is what the principal just told me. You know, and those guys said, no problem. No, we are going to do just that.
The other governorship candidates?
Yes. Yes. So since they are going to Abuja, we're going to do just that. But before they landed in Abuja, Governor Wike at that time has held a press conference abusing all of them and their father.
In Port Harcourt?
Abusing them as they were going to Abuja.
Yeah, abusing
the governorship candidates.
People
that met with him and all of that. And so those boys be like, to hell. All of them, they are around today and they didn't bother to do anything.
Interesting. So they didn't carry out that...
and that was it.
Because they felt that Wike had already...
Everybody just left it at that. So that was exactly what happened at that time.
Why did Wike do that?
I don't know. I mean, it's just...
Did you try to talk with him?
No. You don't forget that we had our own... what's it called at that time? But in
Lagos State.
Yeah, in Lagos State. But it wasn't really an issue. But we needed to resolve this matter, you know, that is affecting or capable of affecting the parties at that time. So we left whatever grievances we may have had with anybody and moved straight into how do we have a common front, you know, going to that election. But unfortunately, that was what happened.
So all the governorship candidates just dumped their
They just
idea.
dumped their idea. I even called them. They were
And that
telling me,
was
no,
it.
this is, can't you see what happened? They
What
just
the guy
watched
is
national TV and this thing and blah, blah. I was like, okay.
And before that, they had agreed with you.
We all agreed that, okay, that's what's going to happen.
Wow.
That was the assignment they were taking back to say, look, if it's how you, this man says how you must go. This man says he doesn't have a problem with how you living. But should he be the one telling him?
So it's curious why Wike behave like that.
Anyway, you know, it's okay.
Governor Wike, Minister Wike, you know, this is a disclosure that is important. You know.
No, I actually don't know what transpired between them because I left them in Port Harcourt because I ended to.
Okay, yeah, you said that you didn't fly back.
I didn't fly back with them, so I left them and I didn't know what happened, and you know.
So maybe something happened.
I wasn't
that you didn't know
all of that.
Because it would be curious,
exactly.
You know, if
so that was
told you guys
I left with Yeoman, which is the candidate of Kwara.
Okay.
We left together, you know, for Lagos.
On a different flight.
On a different flight. So no, they left with Wike's flight.
To Abuja.
To Abuja.
But you were going to Lagos.
Yeah, I went to Lagos. I didn't go to
But
Abuja.
you called them that you have spoken with Atiku. Atiku had no objection
of course.
to how you step inside. You just didn't want to be the one to tell him to do so.
Now speaking about opposition party as of today, I think that it's unfortunate that PDP is what it is today. Trust me. Yesterday, last week I had a press conference and I commended and I actually saluted what's it called, Governor Umweno for leaving. Yes, for leaving PDP.
I saw that you were there.
Yes.
When he.
Because anybody, even if you're a sitting governor or you intend using that platform to run for 2027, you're just sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
And it's interesting, that you raised this point. About a month ago, you know, on this program, I raised the question with one of my guests that I have spoken out, you know, critically about some of these PDP governors who were moving to APC. And I said that, look, can they look at the example of Tinubu, who stood, you know. But when I heard what Governor Eno said, Eno said, look, I can't take the risk.
No, sensible politicians should take that risk.
So I had to
sensible politicians should take that risk.
Okay, you know, well, you know, some people also argue that, well, look, what's Eno doing?
Did you see what happened yesterday? The party sent letter to INEC, informing INEC about their 100th NEC, right? And INEC simply responded that, look, by law, one person cannot sign this letter. But because they still have squabbles about who is national secretary, who is not.
Which was the point that Eno made.
You can't build anything on that. You can't. If they go ahead with that NEC without the man recognized by law as national secretary signing that letter, you're just going to build nothing on nothing, something on nothing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, this is what will happen.
But you know, shouldn't we be concerned? And I agree with you. I mean, my view is that where you've given an insight, you know, because I had always hit the blame on Atiku, you know, running. I still think that it was tough on the country, you know, to have another candidate. But you know, you explain what.
No, I mean, it was open. It was an open. Yeah. It wasn't zoned to the north. Yeah, it was an open primary.
So you made the point. But then. So what we need a strong opposition. We need an effective opposition.
Okay.
You know, and it doesn't seem as if that is really going to happen.
Okay,
you know,
we're actually speaking of now. We used to have a very strong opposition that took the power from the center. But this is what current time has brought to us.
Yeah, now that the opposition is now...
Amafomi Luni, the 2031.
That means you're going to dilute it, you know, just for the benefit of my audience. What he just said is that you're going to dilute it with water.
Where? That's not the literary meaning. Amafomi Parabe, the 2020.
I was the literary meaning. You know.
So what I'm saying is that it is what it is now. It is what it is now. You have to wait till another time where you're going to have that strong opposition. Today, it is not there, and it's too late for you to have it.
So
And that's the fact.
You don't think that all this move by Atiku, Peter Obi, El Rufai, Amechi, and the rest of them,
Okay,
that
so-
they will feel
All right,
you don't think it's going to happen?
No, you're talking about the coalition, right? Yes, it's very easy for people to come together to say, okay, I'm going to align with you, we're going to align with you. But when it comes to who takes the lead, it becomes a problem. Now, you want to tell Atiku Abubakar, a veteran politician who has been there, who has been vice president of this country since 2007, is still standing. You want to tell him not to give this last shot? That's number one.
Even though it's going
Or
to
do
be
you
80.
want... Exactly.
It's going to be 80 by that.
Exactly. So do you want to also tell Peter Obi, who goes about eating with Almajiri every time on the floor, and tell him all those efforts, you can't be? It's going to be difficult. And that's where the problem is. Let me give you an expo. And this expo is not actually for you. It's actually for my northern friends, especially
please go
the
ahead.
one that of my generation.
Please go ahead.
Right. I said that one of the reasons why I put it together, I said, you know what? It's better all of us just allow Tinubu to finish up in 2027. It's because by the time he's going to be leaving in 2031,
Right.
he's going to go with all of these people, all of them.
There'll be a generational shift.
Thank you. And it will then be left for our generation to take on the baton. Jandor will never be the beneficiary at that time.
Yeah, because
I'm from the South.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking to my northern brothers and sisters of my generation. Do not let any old politician to tell you in the name of his must come to North, and if not, you'll wait for another 16 years before it comes to you. So just look at it from now on. I won't benefit from it in 2031. It's not possible.
Now you could be vice president.
I mean, if they have elsewhere too, it can go either way. But I'm saying if you must achieve this generational shift, it's about time. Right? The man will go with all of them. And they know that's why they are all fighting now to say he must not continue, because by the time he's leaving in 2031, all of them will go into...
Interesting. Very interesting point.
And so that's why especially the young northern governors and young northern politicians, this is the time they need to fight tooth and nail, come together to say, you know what?
Keep this thing for another 4 years in the South so that it can come back.
It can come back to us. Because this man will not give it to any of his generation to succeed him.
Did he give you that assurance?
You look at where he was coming from. When he left office in 2007, he gave it to a 44-year-old Fashola at that time.
Well, good.
Look at his cabinet today. How do you think his FRS chairman is?
Yeah. Even
he's 46. The Minister of Interior.
You are the youth as a minister of...
He's 43.
Youth. Yeah. You are a young person. You are a youth. You know. The critical mass of Nigerian people, and I wanted to answer it quickly so that within our time. The critical mass of young people, they are not involved in... They are not inspired by our politics. You know, how can we cure that? I mean, look at what happened in ESAS. You know, look at the kind of energy that young people brought. You know, of course, they were discontented with the situation. And I think there's still a lot of that out there. How can we get young people with their energy, their vibrancy, and their innovation? How can we get them involved in the political process so that they can make the changes that they so much desire and speak about outside? They can make it inside politics.
Okay, so the first question to answer is that, or to ask again, is that what's the motivation to start with, right? They've done everything to scare us away from the process. Oh, it is a dirty game. Oh, they will kill you. Oh, you can't even survive. They will throw all sorts at you. And all of us will move back. I mean, if not for the fact that some of us, Alaya be born, we can, put chest on anything. Don't worry, you don't have to explain everything. They will ask you at home, right? We won't even be part of the process. Because, and anytime I had opportunity to speak to, these young people, and I would say, stop telling me that politics is dirty, because of the fact that you consider it a dirty game. That is why today you have people who are not even that you cannot even hire. You can't even hire to be your maid at home, now occupying important position, because you have left that selection choices and that thing to those, riffraffs in quotes. And now, do you know the implication? They found themselves in the National Assembly. They found themselves in an executive position. They now determine the environment you live in, the school your children go to, via their legislation, via their executive know-how. If they say to you that don't jump, if you jump, you will go to jail. Yeah, because they have the power. To do so. You gave it to them. You left it for them to occupy. If you create a vacuum, anything that is available will fill it. Interesting. Anything that is available will fill that vacuum. That is what has happened. So we need to speak to ourselves, say, you know what? We have to join the process. And watch. The first set of people that will start abusing Jandor now will be the same young people. Oh, what does he want? Is this, is that? So when I listen to them, I just ignore it. Focus on my focus, Interesting. Without this. So the problem is the fact that they've used, and that's deliberate, to scare us away from that. And that is dirty. I can't be part of it and all of this. See, something happened in some people said, oh, that man is going to be the local government chairman. Give him tickets. This one is going to be this. So when I see all of this, and I laugh. And the question I ask myself is that the man that said this person should be local government chairman because he's a leader, he has power to choose that person. Ask him, if he set up a business, can you put that person to manage his own business? Reward. Can he put that person to manage his own business? He's set up a family business. Yeah. Right? And put that same person, come and run this my business. Very important. The answer is no. But they would rather put him in that public office. Because this person is pliable to their interest. Anyway. And they get away with it because we have left that space for them. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Olajide Adediran Jandor, for coming to this. And by the way, how about Funke Akindele, your running mate, Funke Akindele is back at his work. Funke Akindele was never a politician. And, she should be doing fine. I'm sure she's doing fine in her chosen career. Do you regret making her your running mate? Okay, so I don't know why anybody... I'll continue to defend that choice, even though picking a deputy or a running mate is not solely your own call making. But again, we did something that was a clearer departure from the norm. Well, on that ticket. I think it was an attempt to actually bring in... Everybody will pick a non-entity, a nobody, as their running mates. But for the first time, Jandor picked somebody who is known. Okay, I keep asking people. Governor Wike was a very popular governor in Nigeria. Who was his deputy for 8 years? Yeah. Yeah, I know the deputy because of my... Yeah. The woman is now a senator. You understand? Right. Right. Yes. Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom was governor for 8 years. Who was his deputy? Right? Other people, candidate... Okay, if you speak about today's governor, Governor Alex Oti of Abia, who is his deputy? Yeah. They don't know them. Well, but for the first time we did something. But again... Which is an attempt to actually bring young people into it, and which was the meat of my question, to get people in, which was also why I also asked about that. So regret is that no, she's qualified. She's done well in her chosen career. She's a businesswoman who has done so well for herself. Clearly, good example. Yeah, exactly. Example. So what are we talking about? Excellent point. Thank you so much, Mr. Olajide Adediran.
Thank you for coming to Inside Sources. Thank you
Pleasure.
for your services. Like I said, you and I have done quite a bit of stuff, so I know of your passion, for the country, and I hope you won't relent.
Nah,
I'm
not deviating from this path.
Thank you so much. And I think it's a good thing that you showed that you had capacity, even if it had to cost you to leave the party.
See, you ask me about 2027, and I've told you, look, we have chosen this path. We're not going to deviate from it, right? The difference now is that I'm now in a political party where, yes, I'll wait for the party to take a decision, and whatever decision the party takes is what we're going to do.
Okay.
But I'm available.
Okay.
Available to express to the world that yes, I can.
Absolutely.
So now I'm waiting.
Absolutely.
And let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
Maybe for the first time, they will give it to somebody who wants power.
Okay. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Once again, thank you for coming to Inside Sources and thank you for your services.
Thank you.
To the country and for our development.
Thank you.
And there you have it, another edition of Inside Sources. Like we always say, Nigeria will prevail. It means that Nigeria will win, partly because we will be here, we will keep at the issues, and we bring views that will contribute to taking us to that place of greatness that all of us believe is the destiny of Nigeria. My name is Laolu Akonde, and thank you for watching, and by the grace of God, I'll see you at the next edition.